Buckle up, besties. It is the streetwear showdown. The designers were told to bring high fashion to the pavement, but some looks served straight hot mess territory. Who served and who just ran out of gas? Find out on this episode of the Previously On podcast. Welcome back to the Previously On podcast, the show where we remind you why that one scene lives rent-free in your head. I'm Will, and I'm joined by my podcast co-host in
Giovanni.
chaos.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode of Previously On.
Okay, so before we even get into the episode, obviously I said the episode is about streetwear. Now, what does streetwear mean to you? Because streetwear is different for everyone.
Literally the first thing that popped into my head was, well, streetwear. No, but it's usually something that's like, in my head, the silhouette tends to be a little baggier, a little looser. When I think streetwear, I think like dancers. So kind of like fashion for athleisure, I guess. Like there's a lot of denim, like I said, baggy clothes, color, and kind of avant-garde a little bit. It's very androgynous, I feel like.
Okay, I mean, streetwear to me is like similar to those aspects. I think it's sometimes like everyday wear, right? I think what we wear is streetwear, right? Like it depends. I think, but also in terms of fashion, I do agree with you that streetwear does tend to have like an avant-garde aspect to it because some of the designers who are streetwear designers, it's a little over the top.
Yeah. I agree. And like I said, I think it's also very androgynous. Like I don't think it always follows like the gender norms of what men or women should be wearing. I think it tends to be a little bit more in between, which is what I love about it.
Yes, agreed. We have Casey eliminated in episode 1. We have Alex eliminated in episode 2. There's Angelo, Giovanni's daddy, eliminated in episode 3. One of our faves, a front runner, Joseph McCrae, was unfortunately eliminated in episode 4. And then at the beginning of episode 6, we see that Madeline was eliminated, which we kind of felt that Madeline was going home. They was going to keep Antonio, going to keep Melania. Those two aren't going anywhere. Madeline was the weakest link.
Yeah, I agree. I not that I had anything against Madeline, but it just, the writing was on the wall, I feel like.
Agreed. And so that leaves Ethan, Antonio, Melania, Jesus, Joan, Yuchin, and VJ going into episode 6, which is the streetwear challenge. Some of the designers are not streetwear designers. Just use Ethan, for example. Ethan is a drag queen through and through. He's very avant-garde. I don't even think Ethan knows what the streets are. And obviously there's no shade to Ethan, but that's not his aesthetic, right? Like, you gotta think of it. He don't really know. He's not edgy enough for the street, but he's edgy enough for like drag.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I feel his aesthetic is definitely more kind of over the top. And obviously draggier, like, is the best way to put it. I can't see Ethan designing something that's super streetwear. At least, when this challenge was announced, because I think he really surprised me, honestly.
Interesting. Okay. Well, obviously, the designer that is a streetwear designer out of the designers that's left is Yuchen. Everything that Yuchen wears, he makes himself, and it's very streetwear-esque. And that's his go-to. So he is the one that is pretty much like the front runner for this episode.
Yes, and I will say Joseph McCrae being eliminated before this challenge is peak homophobia. Because he would have ate this up. He would have ate these bitches.
Yeah, but also you got to realize that Angelo would have done really well for this challenge too.
I don't know. Because I thought he was going to bring it for that challenge that he was eliminated in, and then you saw what he gave us.
You're right. But yes, I agree 100%. Joseph McCrae would have done really well for this challenge, which maybe that's probably why the designers thought to eliminate him. So,
True. I think they were very strategic in eliminating him.
Yes. So now, when you think of streetwear, does fabric choice play a factor in just the overall design of your look?
I think so. Because when I think streetwear, I think, like I said, denim or what's that fabric called? Like kind of like joggers, and like sweat stuff like that. I can't see like obviously like twill or suede, something like that being streetwear. But you never know. I mean, it all depends on the actual final design, I think, and how they can transform the fabric.
Yes. I also think that fabric plays a big part in a streetwear design because it too loud of a fabric or a pattern sometimes can clash
Hmm.
with your design. And we saw that in this episode with a few designers in particular. One designer made the pattern fit for the design very well, and it surprised the hell out of me because I was not expecting that to be that designer. And then the other one just was so caught up with just being stuck in this pattern that the pattern spoke to them in a way that I don't think the pattern should
Mm,
have.
that pattern should have been put on mute.
Yes, and but it put this designer in a situation where it was like you either have to make the pattern work or you just need to change the whole design. And the designer didn't want to do neither one of
And
them.
then mm, we saw the result.
Right. And so, but the other designers tried to help this person. And I also think I'm gonna chalk it up to age. So spoiler alert, if you know what I'm talking about, obviously you know that older people they get really stuck in their ways and they're really stubborn.
You would know.
So Miss Joan was really stubborn and true. Listen. Um Miss Joan, she was headstrong on staying with this fabric and she did not want help from the other designers. And so in the beginning, I said that Project Runway is doing something that I think is really interesting that it hasn't done before, which is it is the editing and the producing is letting us know who's going to get eliminated next without
Hmm.
actually saying it. So every time we get this big storyline from a particular designer, they tend to be the ones that's in the bottom, and then the next episode they tend to go home. And so from episodes 1 to 5, we really didn't see a big story arc from Miss Joan. Episode 6 gave us a whole entire
Yeah,
story arc from Miss
honestly,
Joan.
that moment where Ethan was breaking down and she was the one consoling him, I was like, oh, she's going home. She's going home. Because
Right.
she was being like very much like the motherly figure, like calming him down. She's like, "Don't do this, Ethan, 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 Ethan." I thought that was a very heartwarming moment, but in that moment, I'm like, "Ooh, she's probably gonna go home."
Yes. And so Project Rhino has never done this before. And so I find it to be really interesting that the editing is skewing towards a certain group of designers. And then now we're getting a different story arc because now we need to see who Melania is. Right? Like I don't know about you, but like I saw like, oh wait, now they're turning and it's like, oh, we need to watch out for Melania because there is a story developing and she's finding herself in Project Runway and we need to figure out who she is. So are they gonna like keep that? Or are we gonna just continue seeing the battle between the twins versus everyone
It's Twins
else?
vs. the World. No, but I mean, for me, I don't dislike Belani at all, but I feel like she has kind of faded into the background, and it's kind of hard not to when you have these other loud personalities in the same cast, like Antonio and Jesus. Um, but I'm interested to see what she does for the rest of the season and how they kind of edit her. Who knows? She might be the dark horse and she might come
Yes,
out on top at the
same.
end. I would love that.
This is true. With Belania, I actually really enjoy Belania. It is something about her personality that she is soft spoken, but I like it. She is quirky, but in a good way, not like a weird, like not in a weird off-putting way, or maybe like a socially awkward way. She doesn't give me that. She gives me like Hester vibes. They were one of my favorite designers from their season. I loved Hester. Hester was great. Um, I fell in love with Melania this episode, and I love that she's finding herself in Project Runway. I think it's great.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I love those unexpected moments when somebody who you didn't think, not that I never thought she was going to win, or, ooh, I don't want to sound shady. But again, I said for me, she kind of faded into the background, so I'm happy to see her kind of coming out more, and we're getting to see more of her. And like you said, her finding
Yeah,
her
yes,
herself.
I agree. All right, let's get into these looks because some of these looks were questionable and some were really great. Okay, so up first, we have Antonio. What did you think of Antonio's look?
I love this. I thought this was so fun. I think he was able to use the pattern very intelligently. He made it work with the design. I love the color, the silhouette. I need those pants. I want those pants. Literally, my reaction to when like this came down the runway was like, oh shit. Like that was my reaction. Like that's literally what I said. I need this. This is like surround sound for me.
Okay, I gave it. It's a turn on. This is not. It's not one of my favorite looks from Antonio. Um, I I've seen this before. I've seen this in multiple different versions. I think the most exciting thing about the look, and there's no shade, is the bag.
I love that
It's
bag, bitch.
that's the only thing I really enjoyed of it. It's the only thing I really enjoyed. But other than that, it's still a great look. It's
Mhm.
made well. But the only thing that like wowed me so much that was like, oh my god, this is urban-esque was the bag.
Yeah. I mean, the bag was amazing, but I loved all of this. I want.
You want all the looks. So up next, we have Jesus. And no, I did not do this on purpose when I made the slide. I did not put Antonio and Jesus side by side. Or
Yes, you
maybe I
did.
did because
Yes,
I
you
am
did. You shitty
shady.
hoe.
I did. I did because we're going to talk about which twin did better. Now, which twin took it to the streets and who understands streetwear more. But we have Jesus. What did you think?
This looks like a fucking shark out of water bridge. I hate this. I don't like the jacket. I hate that top. I don't like the skirt. The only thing about this I like is the pink trim. That's it. So turn off.
This was a turnoff. I agree. Jesus missed the mark. He did not understand what streetwear is because this is not streetwear. I don't know what this is. I don't know where this girl is going. I know she's definitely not going to the street. Or maybe she is in the street, you know, or maybe a different type of street, maybe
I
Hunts Point. But
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. It looks like a what do you call those things? Like when people are about to box and they have like those like capes or whatever they are. That's what it's given me, but not in a good
yeah.
way.
You know what? I'm over. Like I'm tired of designers thinking streetwear. You have to make it like a bubble coat and a
Yeah,
hoodie. Like streetwear is more than just a bubble coat and a puffer, right? Like and then a hoodie. It's more than that. Like you don't have to go to these like cliche streetwear moments to think that that's what makes a streetwear like concept or design because that's not necessarily all what streetwear is. So I think it was a cop
yeah.
out.
I mean, I don't think it was in his wheelhouse, and he tried to do something safe, but I really don't think it landed the mark or it hit the mark. I guess.
It didn't, and I was. You know, and I was upset that he was safe
Girl,
because this is not a safe look to me. I
girl.
think he should have been in the bottom.
Me too. Me too. When they said Jesus safe, I was like, what? What? That's crazy.
Like, my thing is, why are we saving Jesus? Like, I'm confused. Like, I don't get it because this was a bad look.
For the storyline.
It's true. I mean, yes, I mean, I get that. But I also think it's, Heidi and Law, sometimes I feel like they needed Nina to come in and be like, this is a fucking mess. Like, I think they needed Nina Garcia to come in and be like, what is this? This is not streetwear. This is ugly.
This ugly as shit.
Tell me about it. Okay. Next up, we have Miss Joan. What did you think of Miss Joan's streetwear look?
I really wanted to like this, and I tried so hard to like this. As it was coming down the runway, I'm like, well, this part's not that bad, or this part's not that bad. Overall, I think the silhouette is kind of cute. It's kind of giving me pimp, honestly. Um, but I think the pattern just didn't work here, and it kind of ruined the outfit. I don't know why she decided to stick with that. It was not giving graffiti at all. I don't know what she was thinking. Maybe back in the 50s, that's what graffiti looked like, but not now. That was mean. I'm sorry, Miss Joan. You were so sweet. But I like the silhouette. It's just, for me, the fabric was just a no. So for me, this is a mute. I also didn't like the styling of this. Like
Okay.
that hat.
It was not good. Okay, so it's very interesting with Miss Jones' look because at first, when I saw it during the screenshots, when I was scrolling on Instagram before I watched the episode, I was like, oh my God, I love this because I didn't see, like, I just saw the pattern and the styling because to me, it looked like a coat that she had
Mm-hmm.
open. And so I was like, oh, I'm living for this, not knowing who did this. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I saw the episode, I was like, oh, this is bad. I didn't see like the green, like tassel things,
Mm-hmm.
like from the picture. And I was like, oh, this is gross. What is this? So I give Miss Joan a turn off. I wanted to give this a mute, right? I wanted to either to give it low volume, but I had to give it a turn off because altogether, this was a really bad look. And what made it even worse is that everyone tried to help her and she still said no.
And I mean, I commend her for sticking to her guts and like doing what she wanted to do and not letting them sway her a different way. But girl, maybe this time you should have listened.
Yeah, right. Like, you know what? If everyone is telling you something is wrong and you're the only one on the opposite side, sometimes that works. But normally, 9 out of 10 times, it's because you're the drama.
Not Miss
Like,
Joan being
shout
the
out to Scarlet
drama.
Envy, but like, you're the drama. Like, in this episode, she was the drama for sure,
Mm,
100%. Except for that
yeah,
moment when she had with Ethan and she was like the mother
I was
figure
about to.
and she had her, like, she let Ethan,
I was literally about to say that.
like, she let Ethan, cry in her her chest, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is probably one of the best moments of Project Runway for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it was a really heartwarming
It
moment
was so good.
to kind of see Ethan have that human side, but then also to see how she comforted him. Like it was, I don't know, it kind of reminded me of my grandma, honestly, and it like it made me a little teary. I was like, oh,
Yes, yeah. Okay, so next we have Yu Chen, who, like we said in the beginning, Yu Chen was the front runner for this episode in particular because he is the streetwear designer.
mm-hmm. But this, I feel like I've seen this before. I feel like I've seen this on Sheen, on what's that other one called? Not Timu, whatever. Um, AliExpress, whatever. I feel like I've seen this, honestly. Like this does not feel original to me. Is it a bad look? No. I just feel like it's unoriginal and it was kind of boring, honestly. Like it's kind of what I was expecting from somebody who didn't really know what streetwear was and just looked it up quickly and I was like, well, I can pull that off. But from Yu Chen, definitely not. This was a turn off for me. Just because it came from Yu Chen specifically.
This is a turnoff for me too, and it'll be a turnoff regardless of who made it. To me, in my opinion, whether or not it was Yuchen or another designer that made this, I was just like Joan Smalls. Literally, it was just no originality to it. Like I've seen this before. This was not original. I don't know how many of these hoodies I've seen that was just stress and the silhouette. I've already seen this. I've seen it numerous times, and Yuchen himself, he cried on the runway because he was so embarrassed. He was so upset at himself for letting everyone down, especially Law, because he knew that Law was going to read him into tomorrow. Um, but also, I think he was more disappointed of letting himself down and letting the pressure of the challenge get to him. And he knew that he had like more to show.
Yeah,
So
it's a shame.
I could commend Yuchen for
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I would have loved to see what he could have pulled off if maybe they had an extra day, or had just more time in general, because I think he would have done really well. But I think, like you said, the pressure of the challenge and it being such a short time really got to him. And I think also the pressure of everyone being like, "Oh, he's gonna kill this," I think got to him, and that's where he started to falter. Poor him.
Yeah, I agree. All right. And so then we have Belania. What did you think of Belania's look?
This was like a low volume for me. I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. Like there's aspects of it that I like, but to me it didn't necessarily fully scream streetwear. I don't know. Maybe it's because it was sequenced. And like I don't associate sequins with streetwear and or polka dots, honestly. That's kind of what threw me off. I do like from the shoulders up that top that she has on. I love the pants. I love how she tied in the fabric of the headscarf with the corset. I think overall it's a cute look, but for me it didn't necessarily scream streetwear.
Right. I actually gave Belania a surround sound. When this look came out, I yelled so loud at the TV because I loved this look so much. This, out of all the looks, gave me streetwear the most because I know this girl. I've seen this girl. I went to school with this girl. I've shopped with this girl. Like, I know who this person is. And so what I find to be really interesting is that when Melania was getting her critiques, she was saying how this is like if Audrey Hepburn was like in school or in high school, and Law was like, that's bullshit. This is you. And I agree with Law. Melania should have said, this is me. Because that's how she
Mm-hmm.
looks. The fact that she made socks to go with the look because she loves a sock. She made these pants that I think was so great that I want those pants. Um, I love the look. It's a different take on streetwear that it didn't go outside the box so loudly, but it's so good. And the
The
styling was
styling was
impeccable.
really good. The styling was really good, and I love that.
Okay, so then we have Ethan. What did you think of
This
Ethan's
was an
look?
absolute surround sound for me. I feel like The best way to describe it is Ethan does streetwear. Um, because it was kind of avant-garde. Like he did something I was not really expecting. I love those pants. I know he had like a full breakdown because of them, but I'm glad he was able to finish them. I need to lose like 50 pounds so that I could wear this because I need this like yesterday. I love the color. I love the fabric, the silhouette. Like literally everything about this was perfection for me.
Interesting. I didn't have as a like an emotional or like a physical response to Ethan's look as you did. I would give this a turn on because I think in one day, the amount of work that he did in this one look for one day, amazing. The fact that even Heidi was like, "How did you make that in one day?" Like, this is wow. Did I think it was streetwear? No, but it gave me if Ethan did streetwear.
Yes.
Yes. If Utica is in the street, yes. And so I give Ethan credit for getting her a little edgy, a little hood, a little scrappy. Okay, I'll give him credit for that. So he gets a turn on
Yeah,
for
and
me.
I think the model did such a good job at selling that garment that it just added to the whole look. I loved the way she walked down that runway.
True, I agree. And then last but not least, we have VJ. What did you think?
This is a turn on for me. This is another one I want. It's kind of simple, but I love the detailing on the arms with all the buckles. I love the way they were moving. I love the black on the really dark navy blue. I love the different textures. I really like this. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a great look. This is one of my favorites.
I also gave it a turn on. It teetered on low volume for me, only because I was like, I've seen this before, but I think there's some details in the arms, like you said. The jacket is what really stands out to me more than the pants, because the pants are very like basic. But I think it's great for VJ. She's not a menswear designer, so the fact that she was able to pull this out in one day and it looked good, I was like, go ahead, girl. Like she is a dark horse. We need to
We
worry about
do.
VJ because VJ
Mm-hmm.
is coming for
Yep.
the girls.
And Miss VJ needs to stop lying because there's no way she's never, or not that she's never, but there's no way she. Girl, you're lying. You definitely designed for men because there's no way you pull this off in that short amount of time. This was really good.
We gotta worry about VJ because I don't think the designers are like they're not seeing it for VJ, but VJ is silently killing the people.
Mm-hmm.
Like she
Mm-hmm.
is the one to watch out for.
Mm-hmm. These people need to wake up and realize that before she gets rid of all of them.
Yes, and I know it's crazy because VJ has the war or the rivalry with the twins. Not so
Mm-hmm.
much Ethan. Ethan knows that the twins get on his nerves, but he's not as vocal about like his disdain for the twins helping each other as much as VJ. So I love that storyline. I think that's great because in the beginning we had Ethan versus Jesus, but now we're getting VJ versus the twins, and I think that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's giving Relaska talks. Maybe. Who knows? I would love to see VJ at the end with them too. I
I
think
don't
that'd be
know.
so funny.
VJ on the twins? I don't
Yeah.
know. I honestly think it's going to be VJ. I think it's going to be VJ, Ethan, and Jesus in the top three.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
I can see that for sure.
And if they do a top four, yes, if they do a top four, then Antonio probably will be there, but Antonio is not going to make it to the finale.
No. No. He should not make it to the finale. At all.
He's not. He's not going to make it to the finale. He's going to be eliminated the episode right before the finale, and it's going to be such a heartbreaking moment between Jesus and Antonio. That's what's going to happen.
Definitely. You know, producers love a good TV moment.
Yeah, we feel it in our spirit that Miss Joan is going to get eliminated next week. That's obvious. And then that leaves just either Bologna or Antonio, who gets eliminated after
Or
Miss Joan.
Yuchen.
Oh shit, I forgot about Yuchen. So it's what, 3 more
This
episodes?
was yeah,
Oh
because
my
this
god.
was challenge
I'm not
6 of 10, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
yes. So do you think they're gonna do a top 3 or are they gonna do a
Oh,
top
girl,
4?
I can't math right now. Hold up. I think it'll be a top 3.
I don't know. It says new house, new rules, so maybe it'll be a top 4.
Maybe. Who knows? They might put both of those ones in there.
Yes. Yes. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But the top looks of this week was Antonio. And I don't know why I said VJ. Oh my God, Bologna. I'm so sorry. It's a typo. But it is Antonio and Bologna. VJ was stuck in my brain for some reason. I didn't realize until right now that it said VJ, and I'm like, no. Mind you, Melania was my favorite look, so the fact that I put that there, it's wild. But it is Antonio and
It's given
Melania,
racism.
and Melania wins after Laura Roach. It is given racism, but after Laura Roach dragged her on the on the stage that she thought that she was losing. And Melania now has 2 wins, which makes her the official frontrunner of Project Runway season 21. She is the only designer that has 2 wins.
I love that for her because I never you if you had told me that a few weeks ago, I'd been like, really, Melania? Not that I have anything against her or that I think she's a bad designer. Um, but just based on how the first 3 episodes were going, I would not have pictured her as the front runner. But I love that for her.
Same. And then we see that the bottom looks with Joan and Yu-Chen. Obviously, it's TBD because we do not know who is going to get eliminated next, but we can have our own hypothesis and say that it's probably more than likely going to be Miss Joan, because I find it hard to believe that they will keep Miss Joan over Yu-Chen.
I can't see that happening. I can see Yuchen reaching like the top 5, honestly. Um, but based on the way tonight's episode went, I think it's definitely going to be Joan, and my titties say the same thing.
All right. Well, friends, drop in the comments who you think is going to be eliminated next. Is it Miss Joan or is it Yu-Chen? And then also, let us know, do you think this season is going to have a top 3 designers or is the finale going to have a top 4? Who knows? But if this episode made you yell, if this episode made you scream, if this episode made you say same at any point, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single episode of the Previously On podcast. Until next time, y'all.